Hey, how's it going everybody? My name's Seamus, but you can call me Shweem, and welcome back. It's a new week, time for a new video. Last week, I introduced myself. You guys were way too kind. It was very cool to upload my first few videos. I did one full-length video, one kind of channel update once I got the mic, and I was able to get 2 shorts out, at least at the time that I'm recording this now. Generally, it was very cool. You're very receptive. We have a little bit of a community starting both in the Discord and here on YouTube. Super stoked about that. If you're interested and haven't already, I'm gonna take this as an opportunity to just plug the Discord real quick. The link will be down below and it might be here on the screen. So I was kind of torn. In my last video I mentioned that I hadn't decided yet. Now the next day, and I'm deciding right now that we're going to be doing a bit more of a deep dive into my setup, talking about some of the equipment that I have for streaming and recording, and just kind of generally what it looks like, the tech I'm using and why. Yeah, I think that'll be pretty fun. I think that it's a good way for you guys to get to know me a little better. I think seeing kind of the things that I'm using and also maybe walking you guys through some of my thought processes will kind of give you an idea of just kind of how I like to approach things. My goal here is not just to show you my cool stuff, but I'm hoping that maybe this can inspire or inform anyone looking to kind of put together more of a budget content creation setup themselves. I mean, honestly, everything that I do, it's not just focused on content. Like I said in my first video, I'm a student first, so everything at the end of the day is kind of focused around that to begin with. That's why I'm using Ubuntu. That's why I have a MacBook. These are just some choices that I've made based on kind of my own personal feelings towards productivity, reliability, things like that. Maybe I'll get more into that in another video some other time. This video could be kind of a great primer into maybe a series like that where I talk about kind of tech and more broadly my opinions on it, and maybe I can show you guys some things that you don't know about, and maybe you guys can tell me about some things that I don't know about. So that'd be pretty cool, but again, probably for another video. For today, I just kind of want to continue talking about some of the things that I sort of introduced in the first video and just kind of give you an idea of how it all works, why I decided to do things the way that I did, and give you guys kind of an idea of what you can do if you're not interested in going for some kind of first-party solutions to some of these kind of common problems. Big disclaimer before we kind of get into things, I definitely am not going to try and tell you that this is the best way to go about doing stuff, and I also can't tell you that it is necessarily the cheapest. For me, it's made a lot of sense. It didn't cost me much money. This microphone is the only thing that I had to go out of my way and buy to start putting out videos at a quality that I was happy with. There's a variety of reasons for that. Most of the stuff that I had around were from other projects, other things that I'm interested in, and I was able to repurpose them. So this is just kind of me saying that Raspberry Pi and a accompanying screen may not be cheaper than some kind of third-party cheap Streamdeck. Go for it. That's awesome. There's like an Android and iOS app that replaces this whole setup if you want to just have your phone on your desk. Like, there are options. This just kind of both made sense to me as well as made for some fun projects. So that's kind of how I arrived here. The rest of it, I guess we'll talk about while we're going through it. So the first, and honestly, kind of the simplest part of the setup is the capture card replacement. What do I mean by that? Well, instead of having an HDMI and a micro USB and another HDMI, I'm just using Ethernet and USB-C to record footage from my desktop and put it on my laptop. I did this by utilizing a plugin for OBS called Teleport, and it's really simple. Teleport works in 2 ways. You can either use it fully wirelessly or you can do it with Ethernet. I already had this Ethernet adapter. It's Ethernet to USB-C. I had Wi-Fi issues with my desktop when I first built it, and so this was kind of lingering from then, and so this turned into a great opportunity to plug Ethernet into my MacBook, which even with one of those really silly dongles for all the ports that it doesn't have Ethernet. So the Ethernet to USB-C, good, big fan. I mean, to get this set up at like a basic level, you just need 2 computers with OBS installed on the same network. You set one up as a receiver. You make a receiver node in a scene, and you set the other one up as a sender. You put a sender node in a scene with a video source, and that's it. You go into your settings, you configure it, you select the target device. If they're on the same network, then they'll just see each other. It's kind of magic. I think the whole thing runs on WebSockets, so it's fast, it's good. There's a lot of latency if you're doing it on a network. At least there is with mine. My internet is not great, so Ethernet felt like the obvious answer. Setting that up was pretty straightforward. I was not very familiar with setting up like Ethernet LAN kind of stuff on Ubuntu. So it was a bit of a learning experience, but it didn't take too long. I mean, that's just about all there is to it. Very low latency connection when you're doing Ethernet, obviously, and quality is great. I honestly would compare it to what I was getting from my capture card. In my first video, I mentioned the Elgato HD60. It's a first gen one from way back in the day. I was in like not even high school yet, trying to stream on Twitch. The Ethernet cable has comparable performance. I don't know. That thing cost money a long time ago. You can walk into Target and buy an Ethernet and an Ethernet adapter in the like tech section for probably under 40 bucks. I think this is like honestly, out of most of the things that I'm using, the most universally kind of cool answer. I think it, like from a format standpoint, makes a lot of sense. Like on your desktop, you're gonna have an Ethernet port on your motherboard. I mean, depending on what kind of laptop you have, you might have one on there too. If you're like me and you have something that just doesn't have ports, you just have two USB-Cs and that's it. Probably want an adapter of some kind. I mean, this is just kind of a win. Very simple. You can order this stuff on Amazon. You can go get it from Best Buy or Target, probably even Walmart. It's simple, it's easy. There's no shortage of resources. Not that you really need them. There are like similar plugins for OBS that do this kind of thing, and they're like really complicated. I tried to set them up before this and it was just not very rewarding. So if you want to check those out, you can. Maybe I'll link some of them down below, but Teleport was my best option for sure. The next, probably most useful piece of my setup is the Raspberry Pi Streamdeck. That is made possible with BitFocus Companion on a Raspberry Pi with a touchscreen. Really simple. There's not much to it. This one is not open source software. Disclaimer, warning, give them the kind of evil eye. I mean, not really. Like, I'm using it, so it can't be that bad. But I was not a fan of the fact that their GitHub has a bunch of stuff in it, seemingly, but then there's actually no content. It's just a bunch of links to their website to go download the binaries. Which, full disclaimer, I think I had to make an account. Kind of weird. Like, in general, it felt like they were doing too much. I won't lie. I hope that they don't see this. But yeah, other than that though, getting through the account creation, getting it downloaded and set up on the Pi, there was just a bash script to get everything set up and installed. Once it was working, it was just a matter of learning the interface. It's very simple. There's a little application that kind of runs. There's like a little launcher at first, and then it kind of just goes in the background, and there's something just running on your local host. You open it up in a browser, and the browser has all the tools that you need to customize the Streamdeck interface. So that lets you make buttons and hook up all the actions. You can just go in there and build everything. The options seem pretty endless. It seems really well supported. And then they also have the virtual button screen, which is where you actually can use it as the Streamdeck. And you can just make this full screen and it looks good. Obviously, I think your mileage will vary with the quality of your touchscreen. I'm using just the Raspberry Pi. It's like a 6-inch or a 7-inch display, and it works great. Have no issues with it. I push a button, the thing happens in OBS. It even has these little indicator lights, which are kind of nice. So if OBS is not open on my laptop, there will be a red light on all the buttons indicating that it's not connected. And then as soon as I open up OBS, that connection is made, the red light goes away, and I know that we're back in business. So back to that first point, I think generally speaking, this is probably like the second most useful item here. I don't think that a Stream Deck is like necessary gear by any means. This was more of like a curiosity project of mine. I've always seen these things and been kind of excited by them. It was more for fun, but now it is very convenient, and so I would say it's good. The reason why I'm gonna put this one second is because this next one is like fine, but may or may not be working right now. The last item on the list, I'm actually still not using. Right now, this is going to be the kind of initial take. I've been very unsuccessful in my attempts to get this Coral business working again. A little disclaimer, Google put the Coral API into public archive on GitHub in July. Before that, they had already not supported it for probably almost 2 years. The Coral came and went. It's kind of weird. I don't really understand what happened there. So when I returned to my repository to try and set up my virtual green screen with the Coral, imagine my face when just nothing was working. This was such a headache. I mean, when I say this was such a headache, I mean this was terrible. Initially, everything looked like it was going really well. I cloned my repo, no problem. Simple. I started going through, collecting the dependencies, and things got weird pretty much as soon as I saw the public archive on the PyCoral API. Initially, I tried to do a pip install with the git link, and everything seemed to work. No problem, everything was good. I installed the lib edge TPU from Homebrew without any issue, and then I collected the dependencies from my requirements file, and I thought that we were off to the races. So I plugged this guy in. Here he is. This is the Coral. You'll see it says Coral right there. This little guy is capable of all kinds of things, only if Google lets him. Right now, Google's not letting him work. Google does not want him working. It's pretty sad, especially when you think about the fact that this little guy was like $50 to $75 a pop, like per device. And then I think the little like dedicated single board computer was even more expensive than that. And the fact that it's just kind of in software jail right now, kind of weird. So yeah, I considered not including this in the video because I don't have like evidence of it working. I'll like include the screenshot from the GitHub repository to kind of just like, trust me bro. More so, I wanted to just kind of highlight the fact that this poor software is just in limbo right now. I mean, there's a decent chance that I'm doing something wrong, but I spent a lot of time with this when I was getting into this 8 months to a year ago, and I felt like I'd gotten to a point where I was pretty familiar with the gaps in the documentation and what was and wasn't supported. It really does kind of feel like the Coral's being killed off a little bit, and so I'll probably follow this up in another video sometime because I am curious and I'm not done with this, but for the time being, this was just very frustrating. I tried building the binaries because I was like, okay, maybe there's just something wrong with the lib edge TPU that I'm collecting, but then I couldn't get Bazel working. Bazel 8 doesn't support the build system that the make file has for all of the latest lib edge TPU binaries, so I tried to downgrade Bazel to 7. I downgraded Bazel to 7. It still didn't work. It was a real just mess. Was not fun. Still working on it. I would like to see it working again, but for the time being, figured it was worth the mention. I think that the headache is kind of part of the journey. Very unfortunate that I couldn't get this working though. Pretty bummed out about it. Hey guys, me from the future here. I am editing through this video and I'm just realizing that I did not actually record the end of it. That's just the last clip. I don't know if I was just tired or defeated or what, but that's it. So that's the last clip that I have from recording last night. So you guys are going to be dealing with me for the rest of the video. I do think that it was a bit of a bummer I wasn't able to get the Coral green screen working for the video. However, I do think it was still good to just kind of talk about it. I think talking about some of the details of the project and also kind of highlighting some of the current growing pains of Google Coral is good. The kind of library and software support for it has always been pretty not great, but seeing it in this place where it seems like it's just unsupported and kind of done for is a little bit sad. With that said though, that does bring us kind of to the end of this week's video probably. I think that's about everything that I wanted to talk about today. I think the other stuff starts to enter just kind of general tech, and that's going to be for one of those future videos that I talked about earlier on. I think it'll be cool to kind of just share with you guys what my setup looks like, what I'm using, but also I would like to start making videos of just checking out new things and making content about it. I think it would be cool if you guys got the opportunity to try new things with me, and it would give me the opportunity to check things out and also kind of show you guys some of the things that I'm finding. I think that'll be cool. You can expect kind of videos of this format, but about various different kinds of stuff, whether that be software or hardware, coming up in the future. But for now, I don't really know how to close this out. Hope you enjoyed what I had to share with you today. If you thought that any of these projects here were useful or interesting, definitely let me know down below in the comments. If you have any questions, anything that I kind of glossed over, definitely let me know. Other than that, just want to thank you guys for coming back again this week to check out the new video. If you're new here, thanks for checking out the video. Consider dropping a sub if you like my content. I have a couple other videos that I put out last week. I'm just getting started here on YouTube and I'm really excited about this. If you're returning from any of the videos last week, welcome back. It's great to have you back. Thanks for being here. And yeah, I think that really does kind of bring us just about to the end of the video here today. As far as upload schedule, content for the rest of the week and moving forward, you can expect kind of a similar schedule as last week, except focus now around these Wednesday uploads, and potentially like a shorter video later in the week if I have the time and if there's something that I either want to or need to talk about. So yeah, thanks guys, I really appreciate it. I hope to see you back here sometime in the next couple of days for the next video.